Okay, looks like we're live. Let me know how the audio is. Okay, so I'm going to just get started. Okay, just going to have to fix something quickly. Okay, so we are talking about the 1111 portal, which is today. So this is really exciting. I was so excited. I wanted to dress up in something flashy and sparkly. Okay, so Erika Elmuts discussed really what's happening here in the 1111 portal, that we're getting a new operating system for humanity. And this is part of awakening to remembering our initial blueprint of who we are, really these divine beings, breaking out of manipulation and illusion. And in this process, we are being bombarded with light codes. And to help us through this, we can do meditation and introspection. I'm going to link either in the comment section or the description all the links for the videos and references that I'm discussing here. Hi, Ravina. Thanks for joining. Hi, Heather. Interesting topic. Yeah. So this is the idea of getting a new operating system is something that Erika Elmuts said. And from the videos I've been looking at, and other people seem to agree on this topic, there's this same idea as we go through this spiritual awakening. We've got really this flood of changes that are happening, and it's happening on multiple different levels in terms of the physical and the spiritual. And I found a really interesting video that talked about the structure or the architecture of the soul in a previous live. I didn't specify between like a light body and an energy body, but I found a video that I'm going to talk about today that breaks it down into the different sections. So I'm not an expert on this, so this was really interesting for me to find out about this. Okay, so really, like I've done in previous videos, we are going into a greater degree of the frequency of manifestation, really realizing our power in this and aligning with our divine path. Of course, it's not so simple to figure out exactly how that looks like, but on a day-to-day basis, that is really about figuring out where in your life you can change habits, you can make changes, starting maybe small before bigger, about the different things that you can do to support yourself in these kind of changes, whether that is more meditation, maybe less social media, less of doom scrolling. I found the term doom scrolling, where you're basically just bored and you're scrolling through things. And I've noticed that I've done that, and I want to make a conscious habit about getting away from that. Another thing that I just went for a little hike before I came on this live, and while I was hiking, I was thinking one of the things that I want to do is a daily walk, just to get outside in nature and get a little bit of exercise and help build up that habit. Of course, some people are going to be shifting their jobs, their careers, going and jumping into new ventures, maybe new business ideas. So that's really exciting too. And if that's something that you want to do to support it, you need to develop the daily habits to support that. So I have been thinking I could go and pursue different job opportunities. But if I want to do that, of course, I need to go through the interview process. I need to present myself as this desirable candidate. So one of the things that I can do is continued learning, continued studying in the field that I work. It came to me, the idea, I wanted to build an app because I was working on ideas for working on piano improvisation, and I thought, oh, I could build this app to help with that process, and I got really excited about like, oh, how do I build an app? So then I started doing tutorials on the Android development website page. So I won't get into the specifics, but there were free tutorials that you could do. I downloaded Android Studio because I was intending to make an app for an Android phone. I have an Android phone, and I thought, well, I want to make it for myself so I can use it. And I felt this excitement about programming that I haven't felt in a really long time, maybe not even since my second year in uni. I think that was the best year I had. There was not a lot of drama, not heavy on the existential crisis side. I think my third year just got really dramatic and crazy, and the existential crises got in the way of studying. But second year was a good year of exploring what's possible, and I felt that excitement as I was taking this tutorial, and I'm not sure if it was just something there. I was excited to do something that was towards an end goal, but it was a contrast to the heaviness I felt about the projects I've been working on at work, where I felt kind of weighed down by, I was kind of just tired of doing them. So it was really nice to take a break from that and focus on working on that for a while. Another thing that I've realized I can do is spend less time on things that really don't need a lot of time. And I've spent so much time like editing videos, and part of that was time that I probably didn't need to do. So I'll give some examples, like I was trying to figure out the captions on the videos and editing them. So that took a lot of time. The software I was using was not working well with longer videos. I mean, it wasn't even that long, but it took a lot of time, and then I was kind of immersed in it for too many hours. I've noticed there is this benefit to making the videos, because as I was on the walk today, I really started processing what I have been learning and basically teaching myself by doing the videos. I was thinking about the recent videos that I made and the ones I'm editing that I'm going to be posting soon. There is the receiving one, where struggling with receiving, I think I posted that today. There were the patterns on the avoidant pattern with the narcissistic family dynamic. So I was really combining what I said in those two videos and really processing and thinking about it. I think there was another video that I did Friday that was about feeling left out. So in that video, I talked about equanimity. So not avoiding something, not chasing after something, but being really present, being okay with whatever experience is showing up for you. And of course, you can have a preference, but there's not this avoidant pattern, there's not this chasing after pattern. I was talking about in that video how I was feeling both and just being present with that. In the receiving video, I was talking about the experience with the massage and how I felt that intense feeling of I'm not worthy of receiving this help, this care, this attention. And there was this really strong desire to leave the situation because it felt so uncomfortable to not feel deserving of that. And I realized what you can do is you can breathe through it. You can be present with it and let it pass through you. So this aligns with the idea of equanimity. I can't say it. I just said it too. Of not pursuing or avoiding things in your life experience. So I was processing this and thinking about, what was the third video? I'm forgetting them already. It was the avoidant pattern. So this avoidant pattern that I talked about in the video with the narcissistic family dynamic, I realized, I can practice equanimity and this just being present for what was coming up, just like I did in the massage. I was just present for it and I just let it pass. And I realized, wow, I could just really apply this to all the different areas in my life that have been making me feel uncomfortable, and realize I am working through a pattern. I am there on the massage table, letting God, letting higher consciousness, letting source work out all the kinks, basically. So this was a really good visualization for me to try and tie all of those concepts together. So I'm thankful I made the videos, but I probably didn't need to spend as much time worrying about all the tiny little details. Ravina said, I'm definitely guilty of doom scrolling. Yeah, it's such a habit, but I think we can get better at that. One thing that I talked to a friend about was deciding, okay, this is my list of videos that I will watch. And of course, I did some research for this live, so there were some things in here that I had searched videos for. But like these are the creators that I will watch, and I'm not going to go on the app unless I am watching a video on the list of one of these creators. So I thought, oh, okay, I should do that. Just be really conscious about how you're using that information that's available to you. Making sure you're still getting the juicy, good information, but not wasting time with stuff you don't need. So, and we've talked about these themes before, being on your divine path. The energy is opening up to jumping timelines, acceleration and positive changes where your life can just change in an instant. And there are opportunities for receiving love and abundance. So these are things that Erika talked about in her video that will be linked below. Okay, so last weekend I attended God's Kid, and the event link will be in this description as well if you want to check it out. It's only available for 30 days as a replay, but it is paid. So they were talking about interesting points, and so I'm bringing up different spiritual leaders here to point out that there is this consensus that we are in a really potent, powerful time right now. Yeah, so this idea of you connecting to your divine nature and realizing you're the most beautiful thing in all existence. So they're answering the question, why did we come to Earth? So it's hard to see yourself that way, but becoming human allows you to experience that suffering and contrast where you're able to realize your divine nature and then awaken to that reality and realize through the contrast how incredible and amazing you are. And through this process, we are learning to crystallize all the facets of our consciousness. Yeah, so part of our experience is reveling in joy and beauty, the essence of who we are. And Abke was saying how being playful and childlike accelerates spiritual evolution. And we are on this journey of remembering. And you can have a lot of love for yourself and hold yourself in this space where instead of it being like, oh, I want to do the right thing, and putting a lot of judgment on yourself, you can shift into everything I do is lovable. I can find love for myself in this. And of course, you need to be quite conscious and aware to be able to do this. If you're unconscious and you are in such a state where you think you need to hurt other people to survive or to protect yourself, this isn't going to be possible for you. So I think when he was saying this is specific to a certain level of consciousness. And this is something that we are working on, recognizing how lovable we are. So this experience in contrast, it's like playing a video game. You embody a character and specific archetypes in this human body, in this human experience, and you learn lessons. When you play a video game, let's say they're talking about like a shooting video game, quite violent, and he was saying like, yeah, that's lower consciousness, but it's almost like a way to experience that contrast. And he mentioned, let's say that the character dies in the game. You don't identify with that character. So when the game ends, you're not upset. And it's like that our soul is having this human experience is in the body, and we have this attachment to the body, which makes it everything seem much more dramatic. Once we realized who we truly are, we can release that attachment to identifying with the body, with the thoughts and emotions, because that's a small part of who we are, which we'll see later in the architecture of the soul. So if you're not identified with the characters in the game suffering, that provides a lot of freedom. Of course, it's helpful to have some identification, to be immersed in the experience and have compassion for yourself and others, to really understand what's happening, and have compassion for the ways in which you experience suffering and others experience it as well. So, but remembering who you really are results in this limitlessness of purpose and expansion. So there really is so much purpose that we can find within our experience here. Of course, as we realize our power as creators of our experience and we realize what we can create a lot of meaning in our lives. And there is always this limitless possibility for expansion. Sorry, I drank that water too fast. Oh. Wow. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm happy that I'm here. I have a video that's coming out. 2 videos. One's about like feeling this excitement, this feeling of a holiday. I called it like the excitement of Christmas. But this is the kind of feeling that is showing up for me, this excitement. And we'll talk about this later in the live stream too. I gotta stay focused. But today was it's really a monumental day. So for me, it feels a little bit like a party. Like I was getting ready for a party, getting ready for this. Okay, where am I? Oh yes, here we are. So Abke was saying how it is a great sacred gift to be on the planet at this time. And only the most advanced souls get to go to a planet during this kind of transition where you've got the conjunction of 3D and 4D energy just clashing. There's like lots of stuff going on. And we've got this transition from separation to unity. So there's so much contrast happening right now. But there is beauty rising from it. I'm happy you're here too. Missed you last week. You definitely look happy and energized. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad I went out for the walk. I'm sorry I did delay the live, but I was like, you know what? I gotta get outside. Yeah, he said that like thousands of years of karma is coming to a head and manifesting everywhere. And if you watch any kind of news, you know what's happening. It's intense. And he said the Earth's karma is closing out. So we also all have our personal karma, but then I guess there's this karma related to the Earth as well. So karma is all this. It could be distortions, it can be trauma, it can be just paradigms, limiting paradigms. Because if you think about it, anything that isn't true, that's going to be a limitation. And I guess you could consider that as karma, although we don't typically consider that as karma, but it's any kind of limitation, any distortion that we're releasing. It can feel super, super heavy if you've been in this certain kind of paradigm for a long time. Only the highest frequency souls are allowed to incarnate here. And we have this sacred mission of being of service, healing, light, and love. And that can be really simple. Really taking care of yourself and taking just, being that warm space of love, that bathtub for yourself. That makes a big difference. Yeah, so in our lives, we're given progressively harder and harder things to heal and alchemize. So even though we've gone through really, really tough things, there's going to continue to be things that are going to be in your face and like, look at me, like, look at this. And they're going to be challenging, but it does get more subtle, though, over time. It can still feel intense, though. But there is nothing that the real essence of you cannot handle, even though there's a lot that the egoic self cannot handle. And part of that, what's being released, is these illusions that other people are your enemy. So they're talking about what's happening and really this distortion where you don't realize that you're causing your own problems because you're paranoid. Instead of trying to fix some of the issues outside of us, it's more effective to save the world by healing our minds. And this is a huge paradigm shift. There's this collective insanity that manifests as a result of distorted perception. Separation, anger, judgment, guilt, violence. Everyone is in their own world. And you can't convince someone who's in their own world to adopt your worldview. But you can either choose to judge someone else's worldview or just accept and love it, because you only have control over your own worldview. So that was really, really cool. I like how Abke was reflecting this idea of the intensity of what's happening right now and what we can see in the world going around us, but also what we can sense spiritually. So Sonia Choquette, in her video on the Great Shift, which is fairly recent, she says the problems that have been around forever are just being amplified. It's not as if that there's new problems, and they're pushed to the surface as the vibration of the earth is lifting up. And so we are all moving from having our attention controlled by and dominated by fear, reactivity, and anxiety. Like, we know how this kind of focus, it really derails us. I had something that really triggered me. In one of the videos that I talked about, it was the enmeshment with my mum about how someone scammed her. She was trying to buy a car, and this fear and anxiety came up within me so strongly. It was so hard to realize, you know what, this is being triggered in me, and I don't want to live a life where I'm triggered like this, where I'm able to be triggered. I want to live in a way where I'm not able to be triggered. So I need to realize I can't just fix this or solve this. So the silver lining is that we are developing our ability to feel and recognize beyond the physical world. And what we're feeling, if you can tune into that, there is this intensity, but there is this beautiful energy. And this is where my excitement is coming from, because it's like this feeling of Christmas. Okay, so she talks a little bit about the changes that can happen, where we're shifting into being more observant, telepathic, open-minded, being able to see and recognize people and energy accurately instead of projecting. We are less easily manipulated, where we are able to read the energy and the people around us. We are becoming channels of receptivity for the inner senses. And the ability to see the subtle dimensions are waking up within us. Our inner self and nervous system is being rewired. And it's not just the physical nervous system, it's the nervous system of our soul, which we'll look at in this soul architecture later. Old perspectives and paradigms are crumbling, and we're gaining these new paradigms, developing a higher awareness, becoming a new type of human. This is really interesting. This phrase is really interesting because I'm so curious about like what's gonna happen. Are we gonna have scientific discoveries about how people's DNA has changed? Like, what is this going to look like? I don't know. But it could be really cool. We are awakening skills and faculties. Okay, I'm gonna have another sip. I'm not gonna drink too much this time. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the soul anatomy, multidimensional soul anatomy. I found this channel, which was so interesting, has a lot of concepts from the Eastern tradition. So I don't know much about this, but she knew tons about it. Again, I'll include links in the description below. And she has 2 books, and I think I will definitely buy those books and read them. So she's got the physical body first, and then the subtle body, then the monad self, and then the avatar self. So subtle body's closer to physical body, and then the avatar self is the closest to source consciousness. We've got the chakra system, which acts basically as a, what's it called? If we want to make a analogy or metaphor with the human body, we've got the central nervous system with the spine, and the chakra system is the equivalent of the spine or the central nervous system for the soul anatomy. So basically the chakra system connects these different bodies. I didn't understand this when she was first explaining this, but then I finally realized it and the light came on. I was like, wow, that is super cool. So I didn't write how the chakra systems aligned within these bodies because I'm not super aware about it, but if you go watch her video, you will get all the information. So closest to the physical body is the etheric body, the emotional body, and I think she said the etheric body is related to the root chakra, emotional body is the next chakra, mental body is the next chakra, and then the astral body, etheric template, and then celestial body. And there were 2 different videos, and they had slightly different versions. So there's some differences. I think I combined them both a little bit. I might not have done this right, but you get the idea. We've got all these different bodies, which to me is really cool, especially like the other ones. Like above the subtle body, we've got the monad self with the causal body, the higher heart body, and the Nephilim body, alien body. I couldn't find any information when I Googled Nephilim body. All that came up was like video games and fruit. So I'm excited to learn more about this from her. And then the avatar self, the solar body, lunar body, and cosmic avatar self. Sounds really cool. So, of course, there's going to be people who have different paradigms, different ways of describing these concepts. I just looked up the causal body, and on Wikipedia it said it is a yogic and Vedantic concept that was adopted and modified by Theosophy and made its way into the general New Age movement and contemporary Western esotericism. Or esotericism. It generally refers to the highest or innermost body that veils the Atman or the true self. So I'm not exactly sure what that means in practice. Like, can I tell if my whichever body's awakened? I guess if your chakra system, if your chakra that's related to that body is awakened. I've heard it described by Carrie Kay, where you've got the chakras kind of have this like casing over them, and then they get melted through either Kundalini awakening or force of love, and the casing, hard casing, dissolves. I guess it's not physical, like the chakra system's not part of the physical body, so it's not going to dissolve in a physical sense, but it's going to, that it's so hard to imagine what it's like when you can't directly experience it with your senses. So I didn't get too much into this, but this just gives you an idea that what we talked about before is we are getting upgrades to all these bodies. So we've got the idea, the topic that we have today is a new operating system. So we're getting a new operating system for all these different bodies, right? It's not just the physical body. We're not getting a new physical body, but this is going to be affecting us. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the other videos that she has that I've watched that I thought were really interesting. I'm going to talk about distorted feminine to divine feminine and distorted masculine to divine masculine. Again, so she has many different terms and has quite a bit of knowledge from this. I'm going to assume that some of it is from what she has learned, but quite a bit of it is from what she has channeled. And so again, this isn't information that I am an expert on, but this is interesting to think about. If we want to get into the nitty-gritty of the technicality of how our system is being upgraded, this can provide some clues and a base point for further research. So for going from distorted feminine to divine feminine, going from a blocked energy field to an activated Merkabic field. And these are the steps that she was listing out. Activation of daughter codes. So I don't know what the daughter codes are, but there is this recreation of the Merkabic field by correction of the proton spin light body. So I know what a proton is. Do protons spin? I think I have to do some more research on that. But we've talked about light bodies. So is this a physical proton, or is it related to one of the different bodies? Because technically, yeah, I'm not sure if how a physical proton would relate to the different bodies. Also, I got the sense that the different bodies related to different dimensions. So we access a certain dimension through that body, which makes sense. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it meant, but you'll have to go and watch the original video, or maybe you have some information on that. And then you go through a purification and detoxification process that involves, the different levels of trauma and distortion, and it can even be stuff passed down to you genetically, because you carry all this stuff from all your ancestors. Okay, an activation of the cosmic flower. I thought it sounded cool. Oh, her YouTube channel is Tantra Love Twin Flame, and then it's got more to it, and her name is Harshika. I don't know exactly if that's how you spell it. That is, yeah, I will add the title to the description. She does have very strong opinions, and some people are offended by those opinions. I'm fine with it, but people are going to be having different life experiences and having different opinions on things, so I think not everything is going to be true for everyone, because your life experience, you have a certain bias, and so you actually experience life in a different way, in a different perspective. I put the titles of the videos as titles of these slides, and then the person who did the video as underneath the title. So the title and subtitle are what the video name is and the creator are. Okay, so with the distorted feminine, so you've got soul fragments. That sounds kind of scary, like fragmented parts of your soul, like the different parts of your different bodies being spiritually blocked or spiritually dead. And that's basically through trauma. If you're here watching this, I don't think you're spiritually dead. Like, you have an awareness. You have to have some level of awareness of your spiritual self. There's the mental and emotional issues. I've had those. Addiction, karma from ancestral lines and past lives, and suffering. So this is just going over it quickly. Divine feminine. So I picked out some of the things. Spiritual warrior, being a powerful spiritual teacher, a psychic, mystic, alchemist. No emotional drama or jealousy. So I experienced jealousy, and I'm thinking, okay, so this is something that I'm transcending. It's also part of the experience that I've decided, wow, this is something I need to work on. Not avoiding experiencing it and not like trying to running away from it and then running towards something else to avoid it. Just letting myself experience it. And connection to your higher self and being unconditionally loving. So this is she said, no one is born a divine feminine. Everyone does the work. Okay, so distorted masculine. So she had a video just on the distorted feminine to divine feminine and the distorted masculine to divine masculine. And this says masculine. It's masculine. That's a typo. So when I'm talking about this in this context, you can have the feminine and masculine within you. And so she talks about that a lot within her other videos. So the activation of the upper Merkabah field, correction of electron patterns in the light body, the monad self, union, merging with the inner feminine, and manifestation of the divine masculine. So distorted masculine is spiritually dead, emotionally broken, mentally unstable, having emotional and mental problems and addiction. So driven by fears and ego, there's emotional codependency. You'll often see that, I see that with guys and their mums, like when I'm trying to date guys. Unable to express full emotions and feelings. Yeah, we're familiar with that. We are very familiar with that archetype of guys who struggle with that. And it's a common thing. This is something that is blocked. It's almost like what we talked about earlier with the chakras being like crusted over, like that connection to that emotional connection with the self is like emotionally blocked. So that connection with the feminine, inner feminine, is blocked. And for the divine masculine to awaken, they have to have that connection with the inner feminine. Just being an integrated person. This is the Jungian concept of the anima and animus. Having a mental fog or illusion, feeling helpless, depression. Divine masculine, having discernment and wisdom, being decisive, having mental clarity, emotional intelligence, is courageous, powerful, and makes their dream come true. So you can think of this in terms of the divine feminine and divine masculine within yourself and apply it that way, or you can think about it as identifying as a divine feminine or divine masculine and awakening the polarity within you. Doesn't matter how you think about it, there is this personal accountability that happens. Okay, so those are all the notes that I have from different sources for today, and they're really just a jumping off point. I really just did summaries and some key points and things that I found really interesting about the themes. And if you want to know more about what I've been learning about and processing, I've got videos I'm releasing this weekend, and there's going to be more videos next weekend. And I'm just going to close it off with a poem by Rumi. When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of distress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me, and without pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me. and is looking for me and attracting me. There's a great secret in this for all who can grasp it. So what I see in this is the idea of equanimity, of not running away, avoiding, or pursuing and chasing anything else. It is this middle ground. It is this state of peace. It is this seeking within. Seeking this stability, seeking this unconditional love within. And this is something that I've resolved to do, to work on. Really finding this state of equanimity and living there. Yes, I can feel excitement in whatever's happening, but I'm not pursuing and trying to make that excitement happen. Letting things arise naturally. So that's all I have for today. If you want to share any ideas in the chat, thank you for all the information you shared with us. Much appreciated. Awesome. And I will make sure to post the links right away. So if you want to go watch the videos, you can go do that. I've got my work Christmas party coming up, and I kind of like this outfit. I'm wondering if I should wear it. Some people are definitely going to be dressing casual because I work with programmers and they're allergic to dressing up nice. But I feel kind of good dressing up, so I might do it. The actual work party doesn't feel that exciting to me. Like, this feels a lot more exciting. Like what we talked about tonight and being here feels exciting. The stuff that I've talked about in my videos, these realizations, like the subtle changes that you can notice day to day. And I think it's possible for me to let go of my resistance against focusing on my coworkers and how I don't see them aligning with me where I'm at. Just focusing on myself. Like, why do I need other people to provide that validation for me, to be a reflection for me? Like, they are reflecting my own judgment and where I am not refocusing on myself and my life and what I'm creating. Because, come on, like, the things that I'm creating in my life, they're not benefiting from it. Why would I be worried about what they're doing? What they're doing doesn't affect what I'm creating in my life. Like, why would you focus on worrying about someone else if what they do doesn't have any effect on what you're doing? You're just choosing to focus on them. Love the shimmer. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I almost want to go shopping now and buy some shimmery clothes. I won't spend too much money though. Okay, so I don't see any other comments in the chat. I will let you go, Ravina, since it's pretty late for you already. And I will definitely make sure to go to bed early and not stay up late editing videos. It's kind of funny because I think like, oh, I need to make this video. Like, almost not perfect, like they're never perfect, but like more perfect than they need to be. And yeah, some of the people here who watch these videos, they're just like so loving, so supportive, and I don't think it really matters. Like no one's gonna be down my neck or down my throat for if I don't make it perfect. Yeah, we can just create so much less work for ourselves if we recognize the perfection in what is. Be like, you know what? This is great. I think you're a perfectionist. That's why it takes long. Yeah, it's a habit. I can relate. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've got lots of time to, explore the world around us. Like there's this idea in my mind that, oh, I need to create the videos for the algorithm. I don't think the algorithm is working that great for most people. But there are people who, wow, there was someone who I saw comment and they said, oh, I'm using your videos as therapy. I'm like, I was so flattered. Of course, they're not going to replace therapy, but that's a very nice thing to say. So I thought, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it, but let's make it let's make it easy. I'll try. So awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining, Ravina, and whoever else joined, despite the late notice. And it'll be interesting to see what comes up in the future. Okay, I'm gonna leave here. Say goodbye for real now. Have a beautiful